The rain hammered against the library windows like it was trying to break in, mirroring the storm raging inside me as I stared at the glowing screen of my laptop. My fingers froze over the keyboard, heart slamming against my ribs, because there it was, my private journal entry, the one I'd stupidly left open in a shared study group folder, now blasted across the entire campus forum by none other than Ethan Hale, the golden boy who'd stolen every academic trophy I'd ever eyed. Alex's not-so-secret admirer. Turns out our resident B-lister pines for the untouchable quarterback. The post sneered, complete with a screenshot of my confession about crushing on Jake Rivera, the star athlete who'd never even glanced my way twice. I slammed the laptop shut, while rising in my throat, as whispers erupted around the late-night study tables. Friends I'd trusted, strangers I'd ignored, all now dissecting my soul like it was tomorrow's gossip fodder. Ethan, that smug straight-A machine with his perfect smile and zero empathy, had just nuked my carefully guarded world. And for what? To win some invisible rivalry point? But as the notifications piled up like accusations, the real gut punch hit. Jake's name was trending, and so was mine, tangled in a web of speculation that could unravel everything I'd built at Willow Creek University. Ethan's dorm room smelled like fresh laundry and regret when he yanked open the door that first time, his usually impeccable button-down rumpled, eyes bloodshot from whatever crisis had dragged him across campus at midnight. "Alex, wait. Please, just hear me out," he stammered, voice cracking in a way that didn't match the ice-cold competitor I'd known since freshman orientation. I'd marched there to confront him, fists clenched, ready to unleash the fury that had simmered all day while dodging pitying stares in the halls. But seeing him like this, vulnerable, almost broken, threw me off balance. "You exposed me, Ethan. You outed my crush to the whole damn school. What the hell do you want now? Forgiveness? An apology tweet?" He stepped aside, gesturing me in, the room lit only by a desk lamp casting long shadows over stacks of textbooks and a half-eaten pizza box. "It's not what you think." I panicked. "Jake's my best friend, and when I read it, your words about him, I thought, God, I don't know. I wanted to protect him from whatever this is." His words hung heavy, laced with something unspoken, and as I crossed the threshold, the door clicking shut behind me, I realized this wasn't just about rivalry anymore. It was the start of something that would force us both to confront the lies we'd told ourselves. Willow Creek University sprawled across the rolling hills of upstate New York, a postcard-perfect liberal arts haven where ivy clung to red brick buildings and the air hummed with the promise of futures yet unwritten. I'd arrived 4 years ago as Alex Rivera, no relation to Jake, though the shared last name had been a cruel cosmic joke. Wide-eyed from a sleepy Ohio town, clutching my acceptance letter like a shield against the world that had never quite fit. My parents, devout Catholics who'd whispered prayers over my phases in high school, had sent me off with hugs and Bible verses, oblivious to the truth I'd buried deep. I was gay, and hiding it was the only way to keep their love intact. At Willow Creek, I'd reinvented myself, decent grades in psych and lit, a spot on the student newspaper, and a tight circle of friends who made the isolation bearable. Mia, my roommate since sophomore year, with her neon hair and endless supply of bad rom-com advice. Tyler, the theater kid who dragged me to every Queer Alliance meeting despite my protests. And Lena, the quiet artist who sketched our group hangs like they were masterpieces. Ethan Hale was the glitch in my system, the variable I couldn't solve. He transferred in junior year from some elite prep school in Boston, all sharp wit and effortless charm, acing every class like it was a hobby. We clashed immediately, in debate club, where his arguments sliced through mine like butter, in the library stacks, where he'd claimed the last quiet Corel just as I arrived, even at campus parties, where he'd orbit the same crowd, stealing laughs and glances that should have been mine. He's got that villain arc energy, Mia had joked once, after Ethan edged me out for editor-in-chief of the paper. Hot, but you'd hate fuck him into therapy. I'd laughed it off, but deep down, Ethan's perfection gnawed at me. Not jealousy, exactly, but a fascination I refused to name. He was straight, or so the rumors went, dating a string of sorority girls who hung on his arm like accessories. Untouchable, uninterested. Jake Rivera was the opposite, Raw, magnetic, the kind of guy who lit up a room without trying. Quarterback for the Willow Creek Wolves, with sun-kissed skin from summer leagues and a laugh that echoed like thunder. We'd met in Gen Ed Bio freshman year, bonded over dissecting fetal pigs and late-night cram sessions. He was straight as an arrow, or at least that's what I told myself when the crush hit, fueled by stolen glances in the weight room, the way his towel slung low after practice, the easy camaraderie that felt like more in my traitorous mind. I never acted on it, never even hinted. My journal was my confessional, a digital diary locked behind passwords, where I poured out the ache of wanting someone who saw me as just a buddy. Until the study group fiasco. It started innocently enough, a collaborative project for advanced psych, analyzing cognitive biases in social media. Ethan, Jake, Mia, and I were grouped together, fate's twisted sense of humor. We'd shared a Google Drive folder for notes and drafts, and in a caffeine-fueled haze one night, I'd copied a chunk from my journal into a brainstorming doc, meant as an anonymous example of confirmation bias in crushes. Subject fixates on idealized traits, ignoring red flags. I'd written, then, idiot, pasted the raw entry below. Jake's smile undoes me every time, like he's the only one who gets it, but he'll never know because straight guys don't look at guys like that. I caught the mistake at 3 a.m., deleted it in a panic, but the autosave had already synced. The next morning, Ethan cornered me in the hall outside class, his face pale, eyes wide. Alex, we need to talk. Now. I brushed him off, assuming it was project drama, but by lunch, the forum post went live, anonymous account, but the phrasing screamed Ethan, precise, cutting, with emojis for that extra sting. The exposure hit like a freight train. My phone buzzed nonstop, Mia's frantic texts, WTF, who did this? Tyler's voicemails laced with rage, I'm hunting this coward down. Lena's gentle check-in, coffee? We got you. Jake? Radio silence at first, then an awkward DM. Hey man, saw the post. You good? Beers later. Like it was a joke we'd laugh off. But the real damage was the whispers, the profs who avoided eye contact, the frat bros snickering in the quad, the email from my advisor hinting at distractions affecting my grades. And my parents? I dodged their weekend call, fabricating a flu, because how do you explain to the woman who still sends you rosaries that your secret's out, and it's not even on you? That night, fueled by cheap vodka from Tyler's stash, I stormed Ethan's dorm. The confrontation replayed in my head like a bad movie. Me yelling about betrayal, him crumbling under the weight of his excuse. I was scared for Jake, Alex. Rumors fly, and he's got scouts watching. But underneath, something flickered in his eyes, a crack in the armor. He admitted finding the entry. The jealousy that surged not over Jake, but over me. Me, writing with such raw passion about someone else. It should have been. Never mind. He trailed off, handing me a printed apology note, his hand brushing mine, sending a jolt I ignored. I left angrier than I'd arrived, slamming the door on his plea for understanding. But sleep evaded me, the rain outside a relentless drumbeat echoing the chaos in my chest. Little did I know, Ethan's confession was just the first thread unraveling, pulling us into a tangle of feelings neither of us was ready to face. The days blurred into a haze of avoidance and fallout. Classes became minefields, sitting 3 rows behind Ethan in psych seminar, his shoulders tense under that wool blazer, stealing glances I pretended not to notice. Jake, bless his oblivious heart, amped up the bro energy, slinging an arm around me at the dining hall like nothing had changed, but his jokes landed flat, laced with an undercurrent of caution. Heard you got some haters, bro, ignore him, you're solid. Solid. The word stung, a reminder that to him, I was the reliable sidekick, not the guy who'd penned sonnets in secret. Mia rallied the troops, organizing an impromptu game night at our off-campus apartment to reclaim your narrative, complete with rainbow cupcakes and a playlist of anthems that made me want to crawl under the rug. Tyler paced like a caged tiger, vowing to dox the poster, while Lena sketched caricatures of Ethan's smug face with devil horns. Their loyalty was a lifeline, but it couldn't drown out the isolation creeping in, the way strangers nodded knowingly when I passed, or the voicemail from my mom, voice trembling. Alexander, your father saw something online. Is everything okay? We love you no matter what. No matter what. It was code for pray it away, and it hollowed me out. Ethan, meanwhile, became a ghost haunting my periphery. He'd switched seats in debate club, ceding the prime spot to me without a word, and his forum activity dried up. No more witty takedowns, just silence. I told myself it was guilt, that he'd slink back to his perfect life, but curiosity gnawed at me. Why expose it at all? If he'd confronted me privately, we could have laughed it off, deleted the trace. Instead, he'd weaponized it, and the why eluded me like a half-solved puzzle. One afternoon, buried in the library's psych section, my old haunt, I overheard him on a call in the next aisle, voice low and fractured. "No, Dad, it's not a phase. I'm handling it. Yeah, the grades are fine, but this thing with Alex, it's messed up everything." My breath caught. He was talking about me? Eavesdropping felt sleazy, but I lingered, heart pounding as he sighed. "I think I made it worse. I like him, okay? More than I should." The words hung, a bomb detonating in slow motion. Like him? Ethan Hale, the straight A poster child for heteronormativity, admitting feelings for a guy? For me? I slipped away before he turned, mind reeling, the bookshelves blurring as I bolted to the quad. That revelation cracked open doors I'd bolted shut. Back in my room, Mia found me staring at the ceiling, spilling the overheard snippet in a rush of confusion. She arched a brow, neon streaks catching the light. "Ethan? As in rival Ethan? Girl? Or guy? Whatever, this is peak drama. But honey, if he's bi or whatever and crushing back, why the sabotage?" Tyler, crashing our pity party with takeout, chimed in, classic closet case move. Lash out to push away what scares you. Lena nodded, adding softly, "Or maybe he thought hurting you would make his own feelings go away. People do stupid shit when they're scared." Their words swirled, a mix of validation and dread. I'd spent years hiding my queerness, navigating the minefield of small-town expectations and campus casualness, building walls so high even my friends only glimpsed the top. Now Ethan, imperfect, infuriating Ethan, was scaling them, whether I wanted him to or not. The turning point came at the fall formal, Willow Creek's annual bash in the old gymnasium, transformed with fairy lights and a DJ spinning indie hits that masked the undercurrent of hookups and heartbreak. I'd sworn off going, citing a migraine to Mia, but Tyler's guilt tripping. "You can't let one asshole dim your shine," dragged me there in a borrowed button-up and jeans that actually fit. The crowd was a kaleidoscope, sorority sisters in sequins, jocks in ill-tied ties, the Queer Alliance crew claiming a corner with pride flags draped like capes. Jake spotted me first, thrusting a red Solo cup into my hand with a grin. "Knew you'd show. Dance with me later, gotta practice my moves for the scouts." His enthusiasm was pure, but it twisted the knife. My crush on him felt like a relic now, faded against the fresh wound of Ethan's unintended confession. Then I saw him, Ethan, across the gym, looking uncharacteristically disheveled in a navy suit that hugged his frame, nursing a drink alone by the punch bowl. Our eyes locked through the throng, and for a beat, the music faded, the world narrowing to that charged stare. He set his cup down, weaving toward me with purpose, but before he reached, disaster struck. A drunk lacrosse bro, face flushed with beer and bravado, cornered me near the bleachers. "Yo, Rivera, heard you're into dudes now. That true? 'Cause if so, watch your back in the showers." The slur hung, ugly and unfiltered, drawing snickers from his pack. Heat flooded my face, fight or flight kicking in, but before I could retort, Ethan was there, inserting himself like a shield. "Back off, Connor. That's not funny. It's pathetic. Go sleep it off before you embarrass yourself more." His voice was steel, laced with a protectiveness that stunned the group into mutters and retreat. Connor shrugged, slurring a whatever, Hale. But the damage lingered, my pulse thundering as Ethan turned to me, apology etched in every line. "You okay?" "God, I should've. Why do you care?" I snapped, the vodka loosening my tongue. "You started this mess, Ethan. One post, and suddenly I'm campus entertainment. And now you're playing hero? Save it." He flinched, but didn't back down, grabbing my arm gently to steer us outside, the cool night air a slap against heated skin. We ended up on a bench under the stars, the gym's bass thumping faintly behind us. "I care because I screwed up," he admitted, running a hand through his hair. That post. It was me lashing out. I found your entry, and it hit too close. Jake's my best friend, yeah, but reading how you saw him, passionate, real, it made me realize I'd been blind to how I see you. His gaze dropped, vulnerable in the moonlight. You're not just a rival, Alex. You're the one who challenges me, makes me question everything. And yeah, maybe that's terrifying because I've spent years pretending I'm the straight guy everyone expects. The admission landed like a spark on dry tinder, igniting questions I'd buried. So what now? You out me, then confess? That's not a rom-com. Ethan, it's a train wreck. He laughed, bitter and soft. Tell me about it. My family's old money Boston, expectations up to here. Dad's already on me about focus after the post blew up. But hiding? It's killing me. We sat in charged silence, the weight of unspoken histories pressing in. For the first time, Ethan wasn't the enemy. He was human, flawed, reaching across the chasm I'd helped dig. As the night deepened, he walked me back to my apartment, our shoulders brushing, a tentative bridge forming. But bridges burn easy, and the real tests were just beginning. Prejudices from his world, misunderstandings in mine, and a friendship with Jake teetering on the edge of truth. Thanksgiving break loomed like a guillotine, slicing through the fragile peace we'd forged. Willow Creek emptied out, students scattering to family hearths or ski lodges, but I opted for the ghost town campus, citing a paper deadline to my parents. Truth was, facing their probing questions felt riskier than solitude. Mia stayed too, her own family drama a yearly minefield, and we turned the apartment into a bunker of Netflix marathons and greasy takeout, dissecting Ethan's bombshell over mugs of spiked cocoa. He's bi-curious at best, she declared, pausing our binge of queer indie films. Or full on into you. Either way, don't ghost him, communication babe. Tyler and Lena jetted home, promising post-holiday debriefs loaded with dirt, but their absence amplified the quiet, giving space for doubts to fester. Ethan's texts trickled in, light at first, memes about psych theories, then deeper, miss debating you. Campus feels wrong without the rivalry. I replied in fits, testing waters, but the exposure's scar tissue pulled tight. Jake's radio silence during the week was the real kicker. We'd planned a pickup game before break, but he bailed last minute with a vague, family stuff, and when I finally cornered him via call, his tone was off, guarded, like I'd become a puzzle he couldn't solve. Look, Alex, the post thing. It's weird, man. Not you, just people talking. My agent's hearing whispers, and with the draft coming. He trailed off, and I get it. The NFL pipeline was a meat grinder, queerness a potential snag in contracts still laced with outdated biases. Our friendship, once effortless, now carried the freight of my unintended outing. I'm still me, Jake, I said, voice steady despite the ache. The crush? Yeah, it happened. But it doesn't change us. He mumbled agreement, promising a hangout post-break, but the call ended with a hollow click, leaving me adrift. Ethan, though, refused to fade. On the Wednesday before Turkey Day, he knocked, literally, bearing a care package of my favorite coffee and a dog-eared copy of The Velvet Rage, a book on gay men's journeys I'd mentioned once in passing. Figured you could use backup reading, he said, sheepish on the doorstep, snow flurries dusting his coat. Mia, eavesdropping from the kitchen, shot me a thumbs up before vanishing tactfully. We ended up on the couch, the book between us like a buffer, conversation meandering from campus gossip to family war stories. His unfolded in layers. The pressure of being the Hale heir, summers at country clubs where different meant gauche, not queer, a high school fling with a male tutor he'd buried under layers of denial. I thought the post would scare you off me, he confessed, fingers tracing the book's spine. Pushed the feelings down. But it backfired, made me chase instead. Vulnerability suited him, stripping the rivalry to something tender, and when our knees touched, neither pulled away. The break's idol shattered on Black Friday, when a viral thread on the campus subreddit reignited the fire. Screenshots of Ethan's apology note, how? A leak from his trash, twisted into Hale's queer pivot, damage control, or coming out. Speculation ran wild, dragging his exes into the fray, questioning Jake's innocence. I woke to Mia shoving her phone at me, eyes wide. Babe, it's everywhere. Ethan's folks are flying in, emergency damage control. Panic surged. I'd seen enough coming out horror stories and psych texts to know the fallout could be brutal. By noon, he was at our door again, face ashen, duffel in hand. Can I crash? Anywhere but my room. It's suffocating. We cleared the couch, Mia playing host with forced cheer, but as night fell and she retreated, Ethan and I talked till dawn, raw, unfiltered. He admitted the jealousy wasn't just over Jake. It was over my courage, the way I'd owned my truth in that entry, while he hid. You're braver than me, Alex. Always have been. The words bridged us closer, hands linking tentatively, but dawn brought reality. His parents' car idling outside, headlights cutting the dark like judgment. The confrontation was a masterclass in passive aggression. Ethan's dad, a silver-haired exec in a cashmere coat, eyeing our apartment like it was a crime scene, Mom fluttering with concern that reeked of control. Ethan, darling, we've booked a therapist in the city. Discretion, you understand. I hovered in the kitchen, invisible yet dissected, until Dad's gaze landed. And you must be the friend. Let's keep things civil, shall we? The implication stung, prejudices wrapped in politeness, and Ethan, my Ethan now, snapped back for the first time, voice firm. Alex is more than a friend, Dad. And this isn't up for debate. The silence that followed was electric, parents retreating with stiff goodbyes, leaving Ethan trembling on the couch. They'll come around, I murmured, pulling him into a hug that lingered, bodies aligning in quiet solidarity. But as they drove off, snow swirling, I wondered if solidarity was enough against the storms brewing. Jake's unresolved tension, campus vultures circling, and the prejudices that bound us even as they broke us. Winter semester kicked off with a vengeance, Willow Creek blanketed in snow that muffled screams, but not scandals. The forum thread had morphed into a hydra, spawning sub-discussions on queer drama in academia, and anonymous confessions that humanized the mess, stories of hidden crushes, rivalries turned romances. Ethan and I navigated it cautiously, stolen coffees in the union turning into study dates, his hand brushing mine under tables, sparks igniting without fanfare. He came out quietly, to his debate team first, earning awkward hugs and a few side-eyes, then to Mia and the crew over pizza, Tyler crowning him official chaotic bye with a beer toast. Welcome to the Rainbow Rodeo, hail. Don't fuck it up. Ethan's laugh was genuine, lighter, but shadows lingered. His grades slipped under family pressure, mine steadied only through sheer spite. Jake's return was the powder keg. He showed at practice, all easy grins and playbook talk, but when Ethan and I walked in tandem to the field house, shoulders touching, unspoken claim, his eyes narrowed. So you two, a thing now? The question hung in the locker room steam, bros pretending not to listen. I nodded, chin up. Yeah, it just happened. Jake's jaw tightened, not anger exactly, but loss, friendship fracturing under truths he'd ignored. After the post? With him? Dude, he outed you. How's that not betrayal? Ethan stepped up, voice even. I was wrong, Jake. Jealous, scared, pick your poison. But I'm owning it now. The air crackled, Jake storming out with a figure your shit out, leaving us in the echo of lockers slamming. That night, over burgers at the Greasy Spoon off campus, Jake unloaded. Confusion over my crush on him. Felt like I missed signals. Hurt at Ethan's sabotage, bro code, man. And a deeper unease. Scouts are asking about stability. This drama? Its timing sucks. Empathy warred with frustration. Jake was collateral in our story, but his pain was real, prejudices from his world. Coaches' sidelong glances, agents' coded warnings, mirroring Ethan's family gauntlet. The real conflict erupted mid-February, during midterms crunch. A leaked email chain surfaced, Ethan's dad pressuring the dean for advisory intervention on disruptive personal matters, naming us both. Campus erupted, protests in the quad, alliance flyers decrying homophobia, Tyler leading chants that made national queer news feeds. Ethan spiraled, holing up in his room, texts going unread, while I juggled classes and calls from reporters sniffing for quotes. Mia anchored me. This is bigger than you two. It's the fight we've always needed. But doubt crept in. Was our connection worth the carnage? One blizzard night, I trudged to Ethan's, finding him pacing, eyes wild. They're pulling funding threats, Alex. For what? Because I love a guy? The L word dropped like a grenade, stunning us both. He pulled me close, foreheads touching, breaths mingling in the cold room. I do. Love you. And it's terrifying. Tears pricked. I kissed him then, soft, tentative, worlds colliding in that moment. But love doesn't erase conflict. It amplifies it. The climax built like a nor'easter, peaking at the Spring Psych Conference in Manhattan, a showcase for top papers, where Ethan and I were co-presenting on cognitive dissonance in identity formation. Nerves jangled as we prepped in a midtown hotel, city lights glittering below like distant stars, but unity felt solid, his hand in mine during rehearsals, Mia's pep text to chorus. Jake tagged along, uneasy truce in tow, crashing our room with tales of pro-day workouts to defuse tension. Proud of you nerds, he gruffed, masking hurt with humor. The conference hall buzzed, academics in tweed mingling with students, our session drawing a crowd drawn by the Willow Creek scandal whispers. We nailed it. Ethan's poise complimenting my passion, slides weaving personal anecdotes into theory without naming names. Q&A, he turned brutal, a prof probing real-world applications of our dissonance, eyes sly. Ethan fielded it masterfully. It's about owning your truth, even when it clashes with expectations. Rivalries, crushes, they're all data points in growth. Post-panel euphoria crashed against reality in the lobby bar. Ethan's parents materialized, uninvited, faces carved from granite. Dad cornering him with hissed ultimatums. End this farce, or the trust fund's gone. Think of your future. Mom's tears were weaponized. We just want you happy, darling, not. This spectacle. Ethan froze, color draining, but I stepped in, voice steady. With all due respect, Mr. and Mrs. Hale, your son's happiness isn't a transaction. It's his. The slap of prejudice landed. Dad's scoff. Stay out of family matters, boy. But Jake, silent witness, erupted. Hey, that's my friend you're talking to. And Ethan's family too, like it or not. Back off. Solidarity from the unlikeliest ally. His intervention diffused the bomb, parents retreating with frosty exits, but the damage etched deep. Back in the room, Ethan collapsed against me, sobs muffled in my shirt. I can't lose them. But I won't lose you. Jake clapped his shoulder, gruff. You won't, man. We'll figure it. In that triangle, rivalry turned romance, friendship reforged, the prejudices cracked, surprises yielding to understanding. Spring thawed Willow Creek's frost, cherry blossoms unfurling like tentative flags of truce. Ethan's parents initiated dialogue, stilted dinners in the city, therapy referrals accepted with caveats, progress measured in inches not miles. My folks visited once, Mom's rosary beads clicking nervously, but Dad's quiet. You're our son, Alex. Always bridged chasms I'd feared eternal. Jake mended too, our trio evolving. Pickup games laced with banter about Ethan's soft hands, late-night drives dissecting the draft's biases, his coming vulnerability. If a teammate comes out, I'll have his back. Because of you guys. Campus settled, the scandal fading to footnote, our story inspiring a psych elective on queer narratives. Graduation dawned golden, caps tossed under azure skies, but our real ceremony unfolded post-ceremony, on the library steps where it began. Ethan knelt, not proposal, but promise, slipping a key onto my chain. To the apartment in Brooklyn. Room for two, if you'll have me. Laughter bubbled, tears salting it. As I pulled him up, kissing him fierce under the sun, love, hard won, a testament to misunderstandings unraveled, prejudices confronted, characters forged in fire. Mia hooped from the crowd, Tyler filming for posterity, Lena sketching the moment. Jake grinned, arms slung around us both. About time, rivals. And in that embrace, the drama resolved not in perfection, but in possibility, the endless, aching, beautiful arc of us. The summer after graduation stretched like a lazy river, carrying us from Willow Creek's familiar banks into the uncharted currents of New York City. Ethan and I had sublet a shoebox in Brooklyn, exposed brick walls, a fire escape overlooking a bodega's neon glow, and a bed that creaked under our tentative explorations of intimacy. No grand gestures, Just quiet mornings with coffee brewed strong and black, his head on my shoulder as we scrolled job listings. He'd landed an entry-level gig at a nonprofit think tank, analyzing policy impacts on marginalized communities. Ironic, given his own journey, while I freelance psych pieces for online mags, chasing bylines that paid in clips more than cash. We're adults now. He'd quip over takeout ramen, but the word felt borrowed, our youth still clinging like humidity. Jake's orbit tightened unexpectedly. Freshly drafted to the Giants practice squad, he crashed our couch weekly, fresh from training camps upstate, regaling us with tales of locker room hazing and vegan meal preps. "You two are my good luck charm," he'd say, masking the undercurrent of his own crossroads. A girlfriend from back home proposing long distance, scouts still whispering about personal stability. One sticky July night, beers sweating on the fire escape, he cracked open. "Seeing you guys fight for it? Makes me question my playbook. What if I told the team? Not that I'm, but allies, you know." Ethan's nod was sage. Start small. One conversation. The rest follows. Their bond, once frayed by my crush and Ethan's folly, had woven stronger, brothers in the trenches of authenticity. But harmony's fragile, and cracks spiderwebbed from old fault lines. Ethan's family, thawing but territorial, summoned us to Boston for a neutral weekend, code for vetting the boyfriend. The Hale estate loomed like a period drama set. Manicured lawns, a library lined with first editions, dinner served by staff in courses that screamed old money. His dad, Richard, grilled me over port. Psychology, yeah? Useful for managing expectations. The jab landed, prejudices polished to a sheen, but Ethan's mom, Eleanor, surprised with a tentative olive branch, a book on queer history from her club reading list, inscribed for understanding. Progress, bittersweet. Ethan squeezed my hand under the table, a silent anchor, but the visit unearthed ghosts. His confession of a teenage suicide attempt, hidden even from me, triggered by a similar family edict. "I won't let them break us," he vowed later, in the guest room's four-poster, bodies entwined in comfort, not conquest. Back in Brooklyn, Mia blew in like a hurricane, her graphic design startup thriving, neon hair now cropped short. Spill the tea, Boston Barbie, and can approve? Over rooftop margaritas, we debriefed, her laughter a balm. Tyler, now off-Broadway understudy, FaceTimed from a dive bar, Lena mailing care packages of abstract prints that captured our chaos in color. Friendships, those unsung heroes, buffered the blows. Tyler's midnight rants on industry homophobia echoing our own. Lena's quiet sketches of us as superheroes. Yet misunderstandings simmered. A misinterpreted text from Jake, mishanging without the drama, sparked a fight. Ethan accusing me of pining, me retorting his insecurity was the ghost. "We're past this," I snapped, storming to the bodega for air, only to return to his apologetic note on the fridge. "You're my plot twist. Don't rewrite us." Forgiveness came easy, laced with laughter, but it honed us sharper. Autumn brought tempests. Ethan's think tank project on LGBTQ+ youth policy drew fire. Conservative donors pulling strings, articles branding him activist over analyst. Late nights blurred into arguments. Fight it, or fold. I'd urge, while he paced, demons of failure nipping. One storm-lashed evening, Richard called, voice oily. "Step back, son. This path leads nowhere." Ethan hung up, shattering a mug, shards scattering like his resolve. I swept them up, pulling him down. "Nowhere with me, or nowhere at all." His answer, whispered fierce, "With you, anywhere." We submitted the report anyway, leaks to allies amplifying its reach, a small victory amid the fray. Jake's crisis crested during playoffs, a brutal hit sidelining him for weeks. Hospital vigils in Queens became ritual, us three huddled in sterile halls, Eleanor's care packages arriving like peace flags. "Family's what you build," she texted Ethan, a shift seismic. Jake, doped on painkillers, mumbled gratitude. "You saved me. Man, not the tackle, the real shit." Healing intertwined, his rehab mirroring our relational mending. By winter's cusp, surprises bloomed. Ethan proposed a road trip, cross-country, chasing sunsets, no itinerary. "To rewrite our origins," he said, packing the Jetta with snacks and symphonies. We drove west, canyons echoing our stories, Grand Canyon vigils on rivalries resolved, Vegas neon blurring into vows unspoken. In a Joshua Tree motel, under star-pricked skies, he traced my scars, literal from a childhood fall, figurative from exposures, and murmured, "You're my chance, Alex. The one I begged for." Love, in its quiet crescendo, promised not perfection, but perseverance. The road trip's afterglow faded against city grit, but it solidified us, Ethan and I, a unit navigating Brooklyn's bustle with the ease of old collaborators. His think tank role evolved into advocacy, speaking gigs at queer youth centers where his polished delivery masked the tremor of lived truth. I'd tag along sometimes, holding his coat in green rooms, pride swelling at Q&As where teens echoed our Willow Creek echoes. How do you come out when family's the villain? His answer, honed, start with one truth. The rest unravels the chains. My freelancing bloomed too. A column for a queer mag, Rival Hearts, anonymized vignettes of our drama that readers devoured, fan mails piling like affirmations. Friendships deepened, a chosen family tapestry. Mia's startup partnered with Ethan's org for a pride campaign. Billboards of intertwined hands, tagline, exposed, embraced. Her designs fierce, our cameos subtle. Tyler landed a lead in an off-Broadway queer musical, dedicating opening night to the rivals who scripted my courage, dragging us front row for bows and after-party toasts. Lena's gallery show in Chelsea featured a series, Entanglements, abstracts of knotted threads and rainbow hues, inspired by our beautiful mess. Jake, grinding through rehab, hosted tailgates at his Jersey walk-up, girlfriend integrated seamlessly, her easy acceptance a balm, their talks on allyship turning him vocal, tweeting support that trended. Yet conflict coiled, unbidden. Spring unearthed a ghost. Connor, the lacrosse slur slinger from the formal, now a finance bro interning downtown, accidentally bumping into us at a networking mixer. Hale, still playing house with the psych nerd? He sneered, breath boozy, drawing stares. Ethan stiffened, but I fired first. Still projecting your insecurities, Connor? Therapy's a call away. The crowd tittered, diffusing, but the encounter lingered, dredging prejudices we'd thought buried. That night, Ethan unraveled. What if they're right? Am I just playing? Doubt, that insidious thief, stole sleep. We talked till dawn, reaffirming in whispers and touches, but the seed sprouted, microaggressions at his office, sidelong glances in bars, a reminder that acceptance was patchwork, not panacea. Misunderstandings multiplied. A column piece I penned, framed as fiction, but veins of our story pulsing, drew Ethan's ire. You exposed us, Alex. For clicks. Hurt flipped to accusation. It's catharsis, not exploitation. You know that. The fight escalated, doors slammed. Mia mediating over emergency wine. You're both trauma-bonded idiots. Talk, don't torch. Reconciliation came in Central Park, under cherry blossoms shedding like confetti, his apology a poem. I fear losing you to my fears. We vowed transparency, a pact etched in gelato stains. Summer surged with surprise. Jake's engagement party, a rooftop bash in Manhattan, bridging worlds. His fiancée, Sarah, a sports psych grad, geeked over my work. Your column? Game changer for ally education. But Richard Hale's toast veered vintage. To stability, the foundation of legacy, a veiled dig that soured the air. Ethan confronted post-ceremony, in a coat-room hush. Dad, enough. We're building our legacy, together. Richard's retort, softened by scotch. I see that now, son. Slowly. A concession, glacial but genuine, Eleanor nodding teary support. High drama crested in August. Ethan's org facing defunding over partisan stances, conservative backlash to our youth report. Protests erupted outside board meetings, media swarming, us thrust into spotlights we dodged. Tyler rallied theater friends for flash mobs, Lena's art auctioning for legal funds, Mia's billboards going viral. Jake even showed, picket sign in hand, quarterback for queers. The climax, a town hall showdown, Ethan at the mic, voice steel. This isn't politics, it's lives. Mine, Alex's, the kids we're fighting for. Cheers thundered, Donors swayed. Victory snatched from jaws. Fall brought equilibrium, but not without tension's final twist. A Willow Creek reunion invite dredged the past. Debate club panel on rivalries to romances. We debated attending, ghosts of exposure looming, but went, hand in hand, reclaiming the library forum. Jake emceed, quips landing light. From crushes to chaos, these two wrote the playbook. Laughter healed, old wounds scarred over. As leaves turned, Ethan and I plotted futures. Grad school for me, his promotion looming. On our fire escape, city hum below, he murmured, "One more chance?" Every day, I smiled, pulling him close, always. Love, in its layered glory, thrived, not despite the drama, but through it. Years folded like accordions, compressing Willow Creek's raw edges into polished memories, but the core, love's tensile strength, held. By our 5th anniversary, Brooklyn had yielded to a co-op in Queens. More space for bookshelves groaning under psych tomes and policy briefs. A balcony herb garden Ethan's green thumb coaxed from concrete. My column evolved into a podcast, Exposed Hearts, guests sharing arcs that mirrored ours. Rivals turned lovers, secrets weaponized then redeemed. Listeners tuned in millions, Tyler guesting with theatrical flair, Mia's sound designing episodes with indie beats. Ethan's career vaulted, senior analyst, then director, his TEDx talk on queer dissonance in policy, going viral, invitations flooding from DC to Davos. Yet success shadowed him. Richard's approval, once doled in drips, now flowed in golf outings and heirloom watches, but laced with when's the wedding, probes, heteronormative nostalgia cloaked as care. Eleanor fared better, volunteering at queer centers, her book club a gateway to pride parades. Growth is graceful, she'd say over brunches, but Ethan's flinch at traditional hints betrayed the undercurrent. Jake's ascent was meteoric, giant starter, Super Bowl ring glinting in endorsements, Sarah his anchor through media maelstrom. Fatherhood followed, a daughter named Riley, her christening a blend of jerseys and rainbows. Uncle Alex, teacher psych tricks, he'd joke, but deeper talks revealed his battles. League closets creaking open, teammates outing crushes with casual cruelty, his advocacy op-eds echoing our early fights. You two paved it, he'd credit, barbecues at their Jersey manse a ritual. Ethan grilling, me wrangling Riley, bonds familial. Friendships, that enduring lattice, branched wide. Mia's firm exploded, her wedding to a non-binary sculptor a spectacle of drag queens and data viz projections. Tyler's Broadway break, lead in a musical about rival spies and love, earned Tonys, his acceptance speech a nod. To the Hales who schooled me in heart. Lena's murals graced subways, won a sprawling, entwined rivalries. In Brooklyn, figures abstract yet achingly us. Reunions were lore, annual Willow Creek bar crawls, toasts to the exposure that sparked it all. Conflict, inevitable, reared in midlife guises. Ethan's burnout hit hard, jet lag from conferences, nightmares of boardroom betrayals, culminating in a panic attack during a panel, me catching him backstage, breaths synced in the dim. "I'm the villain again," he gasped, "but therapy, ours joint now." Unpacked it, imposter syndrome rooted in that forum post, rivalries echo. "You're the hero of our story." I countered, sessions yielding tools, boundaries with Richard, sabbatical whispers. Misunderstandings, subtler now, tested waters. A podcast episode on ex-partners' shadows, framed broadly, Jake's old flames surfacing in anecdotes, stirred Ethan's pot. Am I the cautionary tale? Insecurity, aged but potent, led to a weekend apart, me crashing Mia's, him hiking the Catskills. Return brought reckoning. Letters exchanged, mine on his light in my dark, his on my steadying gravity. Surprise, we're still learning. We laughed, reaffirming over skyline picnics. Surprises sweetened the strain. Jake's Riley, at 3, declared us Prince Uncles, her crayon drawings framing our fridge, stick figures with hearts. Eleanor's gift, a trust for future Hales, no strings, her pride parade float a float of acceptance. Tyler's script collab, a romdram pilot based loosely on us, Rivals Redemption, greenlit for streaming. Our cameos vetoed, but endorsements beamed. Climax brewed in crisis. Ethan's org targeted by a far-right smear campaign. Deepfakes doctored of him in scandals, dredging the old post with twisted spins. Media frenzy reignited, sponsors fleeing, our home doored with hate mail. Jake rallied athletes for PSAs, Mia's firm lawyering pro bono, Tyler's cast protesting. The peak, a congressional hearing, Ethan testifying, voice unwavering. These attacks aren't policy, they're prejudice, personal and pernicious. Allies amplified, funding surged, victory a Pyrrhic phoenix. Resolution rippled outward. Post-hearing, Richard's call, proud son. Truly, a milestone, tears shared. Our podcast special, from rivals to revolution. Top charts, guests including Connor, reformed, regretful, now an ally, org volunteer. I was the villain. You rewrote me. Decades End found us on Willow Creek's quad. Reunion full circle, Jake toasting with Riley on shoulders. To chances begged and granted. Ethan pulled me aside, ring box subtle. Marry me? Officially. Yes, whispered under stars. Love's arc complete. Not endpoint, but ever-unfolding chapter. Post-honeymoon, Italian hill towns, gelato-fueled rambles. Life accelerated. My podcast syndication meant tours. Ethan consulting federally. Our schedules a juggle of Zooms and stolen suppers. Fatherhood beckoned subtly, fostering talks over breakfast, inspired by Riley's chaos and queer center tales. A kid on their terms, we agreed. Agency visits stirring hopes and hesitations. Prejudices internalized, like Ethan's flinch at traditional family queries. Friendships, lifelines eternal, adapted. Mia's twins arrived. Her empire pausing for midnight feeds we Aunt Ed via video. Neon hair traded for sleep-deprived ponytails. Tyler's directorial debut, a queer rival rom-com, premiered at Sundance. Us red carpet arm in arm, critiques hailing authentic ache. Lena's retrospective toured museums, a wing named Entanglements Eternal, our portraits abstract icons. Conflict simmered domestic. Ethan's DC commute strained, arguments over priority, flaring like old rivalries. You're choosing policy over us. I'd accuse, he retorting stability for our future. Mia mediated again, her wisdom battle-tested. Fight fair. It's love, not litigation. Therapy reloaded tools, a weekend unplug in the Adirondacks mending. Hikes hand in hand, campfires confessing fears of obsolescence. Misunderstandings, generational now, surfaced with fostering. Agency home studies probed our stability. Echoes of Richard's old scripts, stirring Ethan's rage, were dissected again. A near mismatch, a teen boy, guarded like young us, fizzled over logistics, grief raw. What if we're not enough? He whispered, but we doubled down, volunteering mentorships, hearts open. Surprises sparkled amid shadows. Jake's Riley, at 8, pinned a school essay, My Uncle's Love Story, A+, teacher emailing us teary. Eleanor's memoir, Grace and Growth, ghosted but genuine, became a quiet bestseller, royalties funding scholarships. Tyler cast us in a web series cameo, rival profs turned partners, fans spotting the originals. Climax crashed via scandal redux. A political hack leaked Ethan's old forum post, twisted into hypocrite fodder amid election cycles. Pundits pounced, our doorstep paparazzi swarmed, podcast inundated with trolls. Jake's press conference defended, these men are heroes, mine included. Mia's lawyers sued for defamation, Tyler's fans trended rivals rise. Lena's murals went street art viral. The hearing redux, joint testimony, Ethan on policy, me on personal toll. Exposures scar, but they don't define, I stated, applause thundering. Backlash boomeranged, donations doubled, a biopic option from my columns. Resolution bloomed familial. The foster match stuck, Theo, 15, queer and quizzical, joining our co-op with Duffel and Doubts. First dinner awkward, pasta fumbling, stories shared haltingly, but Theo's grin at Ethan's bad pun cracked ice. You're stuck with us, I said, and his nod sealed it. Family, forged not born. Years later, Theo's graduation, valedictorian, speech on chances taken, drew full circle, Jake's family cheering loudest. On our balcony, city lights winking, Ethan murmured, "Best plot twist." Love, enduring, whispered back, "Forever." Legacy unfolded in layers, our story's epilogue a living text. Theo thrived, college-bound for psych at Willow Creek, irony not lost, his coming out casual over breakfast, our hugs matter of fact. "You guys made it normal," he credited, "but we knew the scaffolding." Endless talks, pride flags year-round. Jake's game tickets his first adult gift. Fatherhood, adoptive and earned, reshaped us. Ethan's patience infinite in homework huddles, my columns shifting to family frontiers, readers' parenting parallels. Careers crested then curved. Ethan's federal advisory role wrapped with a White House nod, burnout yielding to adjunct teaching. Queer studies seminars packed with wide-eyed undergrads echoing our youth. My podcast pivoted to books, Exposed, a memoir of rivals and redemption. Bestseller lists, tours with Theo as roadie, fans queuing for signed arcs. Collaborations bloomed. Ethan's policy primers, my narratives weaving personal into public. Friendships, octaves deeper, sustained. Mia's firm mentored Theo's internships, her family our extended chaos, twin birthdays balloon wars. Tyler's Oscar nod for a biopic score. Ours the muse, meant Hollywood house parties, red carpets ridiculous in tuxes. Lena's foundation granted artist residencies, one for Theo's sketches, her 60th a gallery gala of lifetimes captured. Conflict, mellowed, revisited roots. Richard's health scare, heart stint, hospital hushed, drew us to Boston, bedside vigils where prejudices peeled final layers. "I was wrong," he rasped to Ethan, hand clasped. "You built better." Eleanor's eulogy later, post his quiet passing, honored the son who taught me love's breath. Grief communal, Jake flying in, Riley reading eulogies. Misunderstandments, now Theo's domain. Teen rebellion, a boyfriend's drama mirroring our early exposures. He outed me online, stupid fight, Theo vented, echoes chilling. We guided gently, therapy, talks with the boy, mending modeled. Hurts don't define, healing does, Ethan echoed. Our journal ritual revived for him. Surprises, silver-haired, delighted. Jake's Hall of Fame induction. Us in front row, Riley's speech. Uncles Alex and Ethan showed love wins games off field. Eleanor's remarriage, a widower artist, Lena's circle, to avow renewal under willows, her joy infectious. Climax, soft now, a health scare for me. Routine skin spotting shadows, biopsies blurring days. Ethan's vigil unwavering, Theo's hand small in mine, friends orbiting like constellations. Benign, the verdict, but it reframed, priorities sharpened, sabbaticals synced, travels with Theo to Italy's roots. Resolution, golden, circled back. Willow Creek's alumni gala, lifetime achievement for us, panel on decades of drama. Drew full house, Jake emceeing, from one post to a lifetime. Toast raised, Theo beside, we whispered vows renewed. In twilight years, porch swings in a Hudson cottage. Ethan's silver fox, my laugh lines deep, stories retold to grandkids, Riley's brood, Theo's eventual. Once upon our exposure, we begin, ending, and they begged and granted happily ever afters. Love, the ultimate arc, closed not with period, but ellipsis, endless.